Today we're in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and we're getting ready to head out on a rally. Not just any rally, this is the Diamond Rally. What does that mean? It means only luxury and exotic vehicles allowed. How does one participate in the rally? First off, you need to have a vehicle that qualifies. The list is quite extensive, but just think ultra expensive luxury or supercars and the odd motorcycle. The day starts in the morning with registration and breakfast, and for the next 2 hours, the lot is filled with some of the most sought after cars in the world. This isn't just a guy's event, it's for everybody. Men, women, and even children. Oh, and the odd Luke Skywalker and stormtroopers are also in attendance. The crazy thing is that this year's entries are almost at 200 cars. This is the largest and most expensive gathering of automobiles that I've ever seen that is outside of an international auto show. So for the next couple of days, I'm gonna get a chance to drive a few amazing cars that I never dreamt I'd ever be able to drive. First one up, Rolls-Royce. Okay, so the Diamond Rally has started. I'm in a brand new 2016 Rolls-Royce Ghost. This is amazing. This is a chance of a lifetime. It was great to see so many little kids even. You know, I remember being a kid and seeing all these supercars, but this many at once, and this is just a huge thing. They've shut down entrances to the highway, all the lights. We have a clear go. It's literally amazing what they've done in the organization of this rally. So anyways, the Ghost. What do we know about the Ghost? Well, I gotta be honest, I really didn't know a lot about Rolls-Royce before I came on this rally. I did a little research, did some homework, and what an iconic brand that it is. So what we're doing right now, we're driving up, we're gonna go up to Pemberton, and then our final destination is Whistler, British Columbia. And look at that, wow. This is gonna be really fun. Anyways, our first stop is in Squamish. It's about an hour away. Oh, looks like we're in exotic car traffic jam right now over the Second Narrows Bridge. This is just ridiculous. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing right now. So what's it like driving a Rolls-Royce? Well, like I said, it's an iconic brand. This is a hand-built car. You know, this car, first of all, costs as much as some houses cost, not in the Vancouver area, but in some areas of the country.
I would say they start at around $400,000, and they'll go up to even over $1 million for our limited production commission collection cars. For each vehicle, I would say the standard feature options in the car are about $100,000 to $200,000, but really the sky is the limit. We've had anything and everything done to the vehicles. At Goodwood, a lady came in and wanted her car to be the color of her dog, and they matched it perfectly. So really anything that the customer wants or desires can be done.
And sometimes it takes longer to build this than it does to build a house.
Completely handcrafted. Over 60 pairs of hands touch every vehicle. And the vehicle is actually pushed right down the production line from station to station, where each individual is handcrafting the vehicle.
The interior is amazing. They can take up to a month just to actually do the woodworking, take over 2 weeks just to plan out the leather and hand sew the dash of these Rolls-Royces. This car is solid. This is a hefty vehicle, ringing in at over 5,000 pounds. What do you need to get a car like this going? How about a 6.6 liter twin turbo V12 engine putting out 565 horsepower? Yes, a lot of horsepower, but it is needed. And that puts this thing 0 to 60 actually just around 5 seconds though, which is crazy on a car like this. Now, most Rolls-Royces, you actually sit in the back. This is a four-door, and I can see the back has ample room. This is almost a driver's car. So in a little bit, actually, we're gonna trade off and we're gonna try the Wraith, which is the two-door, sportier version of the Rolls-Royce, and that has even more power. So now we're on the Sea to Sky Highway, and if you're not familiar with it, it's from Vancouver to Whistler, and it's one of the most scenic drives you could possibly do. It's right along the coast all the way until you get to close to Whistler, and it's very, very twisty and mountainous. So obviously for power, no problem whatsoever. You do have to give yourself a little bit of time to slow down because this thing carries a lot of momentum, but you know what, who's in a rush? But when you go through the corners on these, even on the tighter corners, surprisingly, it doesn't wallow. It doesn't feel like you're floating over. It's very, very precise in controlling the suspension.
Really, they can compete with the and handle much like a supercar. They are track ready. They are extremely fast. And they're, they're not like, they're not a delicate vehicle anymore. It's solid, it's built to perfection, and it can withstand any climate, any condition, because they're absolute perfection.
First stop, Chance's Casino in Squamish, BC, where for the next hour, patrons and passerbyers are treated with the ultimate collection of automotive eye candy. You've heard of pop-up restaurants, but how about a pop-up exotic car show? Off to the next destination, the Pemberton Airport. Okay, I may be showing my age a little bit here, but you know what this really, really feels like? It feels like I'm driving in a movie, the 80s movie Cannonball Run, where you had all these Lamborghini Countaches driving across the country trying to evade cops. Well, this is kind of like the same thing, except without the evading cop thing. So there has to be some negatives when driving a Rolls-Royce, isn't there? Yeah, not really. You think about it. You're not worried about price. If you can afford a Rolls-Royce, you have lots of money. Fuel economy, same thing. The only negative that there is it's like flying in business class. Once you've done it, you've been ruined. You never ever want to go back. Same thing with the Rolls-Royce. Since this is probably my only chance ever to drive a Rolls-Royce, I just had to do this. Excuse me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
Which?
Grey Poupon.
Grey Poupon.
The mustard. Remember the commercial with the Rolls-Royce? Okay, that didn't work very well. Am I the only one that remembers the Grey Poupon mustard commercial? Second stop, the Pemberton Airport. Lunch stop, and for the rest of the afternoon, drivers can really open up their machines drag racing one-on-one on the airport runway. Even though I didn't take the Rolls on the strip, it was equally fun actually seeing these supercars doing what they do best, going fast. As promised, time to do a car swap. This time, something with only two doors. Okay, now for something a little bit of a different pace. We've went from the Rolls-Royce Ghost to the Rolls-Royce Wraith. This thing is wicked. First of all, it is a two-door coupe opposed to the four-door Ghost. It has the same engine, the 6.6 liter V12, but instead of under 600 horsepower, this one puts out 624 horsepower and almost 600 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 on this one, 4.6 seconds. That is really, really, really quick for a sports car, and for a car this size, once again, over 5,000 pounds, even more impressive. Now, this is definitely a coupe. The back really isn't as comfortable for sure as Rolls-Royce Ghost that we were driving earlier, which is a four-door. And let's talk about the doors. These are suicide doors. They open the opposite way, and it's really hard to get used to it because I don't own the car. And when you first get in, and I was moving some things in from the other car, and I kept on going to the wrong side. It's kind of funny. So they open pretty wide, but guess what? They actually close by power if you'd like as well. And both the Ghost and the Wraith also have the ability to raise or lower their suspension. It looks really good when it's lowered, and it handles better as well. Other than that spirit of ecstasy that you see in the front, and since you don't see the car when you're inside, so you don't see that big grille, you really don't know that you're driving a Rolls-Royce, as in the dynamics. One of the best things about the drive of the newer Rolls-Royce is that it drives like a good BMW. And that's not a bad thing, that's a great thing, because you know BMW is known for their great driving dynamics, and with this big, huge Rolls-Royce, it's no different. You feel everything, you're in control, there's a lot of confidence when you're going around the corners, when you're stopping. I have to give a big shout out to the law enforcement all the way up from Vancouver, all the way up here when we were even in Squamish. They kind of lean toward looking the other way a little bit when some of the vehicles, which these are very capable vehicles, they stretch their legs a little bit. Now I kind of understand the models of Rolls-Royce now. You have the Phantom, which you would normally get chauffeured in. That's the Rolls-Royce of the past that I remember. And then you have something like the Ghost, where you could be a passenger or you could be the driver, and you'd enjoy both of them, both experiences. Then you have this Wraith, believe it or not, for the Rolls-Royce. This is a driver's car, and you really don't want to sit in the back, but you just want to be in awe of something this special. And to make things even more special, this particular Wraith here, it doesn't have a panoramic roof like the Ghost had, but instead it has over 1,000 LED lights embedded inside the headliner, giving you this real starry type of effect. Kind of neat. So at almost $500,000 per car, who buys these Rolls Royces?
They're looking for quality first and foremost. They're demanding perfection, and everything that they've done in life that have led them up to achieve this purchase has made them want the very best. Right now, very recently, we've had a major sports franchise owner purchase a vehicle. We've had a major clothing designer owner purchase the vehicle. So they're really entrepreneurial type people.
There is absolutely no doubt that this would be the car to take if you owned one on a long trip. You could drive for hours and hours. The seats are so comfortable. Everything feels so good in this car. I'm really not exaggerating. I'd like to actually take this on a track one day. Let's open her up. Oh yeah. Whoa, okay. Nice. This is the whole package, if you can afford it. So after a full day of driving and activities, we are just approaching our final destination, which is Whistler, British Columbia. So for day two, we're gonna switch it up a bit. We're gonna go from the comfort of the Rolls-Royce to the performance of this BMW i8. All right, we're in the i8, which I call a supercar. Why? Well, it's got those cool doors. It looks like a supercar, and it performs pretty darn good. Listen to that engine. Woo! Now talk about engine. This is not like some of the other supercars. Why? It doesn't have a V8, 10, or V12. It has a 3-cylinder. That's right. A 1.5 liter 3-cylinder, turbocharged 3-cylinder, and that little 3-cylinder puts out 228 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque. But that's not all it has. It also has an electric drive system, and that drives the front wheels, making this an all-wheel drive vehicle. And that electric motor puts out 129 horsepower. That's all put through for the gas engine, a 6-speed automatic transmission, and the front electric motor has a 2-speed transmission. There's one thing that supercars have, which is a good and bad thing. If you own one, it's good, and that is the sound. So there's some nice growl to this. Now, mind you, this does have a sound generator that actually pumps some of the sound into the cabin. So it's a little bit artificial, but you know what? Who cares? It still sounds good. But regular supercars, they can be very, very obnoxious, which, like I said, if you own it, it's awesome. You love it. It's intoxicating. But if you're the neighbor of someone that has a supercar, it's the last thing you want to hear in the morning or late at night is that whap, 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 whap. So what this does is, with the electric drive motor, we can put it into e-drive. You could roll out of your driveway at 5 in the morning, your neighbors won't even know a thing. And then once you get onto the open area, you can put it back into sport mode, and then, oh yeah, and that brings the gasoline engine to life again, as well as the electric engines. Now, there are 3 different modes. There's Eco Pro, that's gonna squeeze out every little bit of efficiency out of the batteries and the electric motor. And then you have the comfort mode for everyday driving, and that uses the gasoline engine and the electric motors as well. But probably the best mode is the sport mode. So you put it into sport mode like we have it in right now, and that gives you the best performance between the gasoline engine and the electric motors as well, but it also charges your batteries. It charges it pretty quick, so a lot of times you don't even have to charge this or even plug it in at home. If you do want to plug it in at home, 3.5 hours will give you a full charge out of a regular household outlet. Of course, if you have 220, it's going to be a fraction of that time. Now, I could honestly drive this car every day. No issues whatsoever, other than some space issues. Yeah, those rear seats, they're for really, really small people, but what they're good for is it's good for putting luggage back there or cargo, because your rear trunk is minuscule. It's very, very small. You can put a few grocery bags there, and that's pretty about it. You're not gonna make any big Costco trips. But driving it, it's not obnoxious, like I said, for sound, unless you really put your foot down into it. It's comfortable, the seats are great. It feels like you're driving a good quality BMW. You ride at a decent regular height, not like some supercars where you're pretty well sitting on the ground. And one of the most surprising things about this car, which I didn't expect, is the doors. You'd think it'd be hard to get in and out of this vehicle, but it's not. It's very easy, and those doors are just way too cool. It looks so futuristic and looks just cool. This, I can honestly say, would be your everyday supercar. No compromise. It just drives so easy. It's so easy to drive. Everything about it. Visibility is fine. The torque is the best thing. And this is the best of all worlds, from electric and high performance gasoline as well. Oh yeah. Okay, as an added and big bonus to this i8 supercar, first of all, you get front row parking spots in a lot of places because you can plug in. In many provinces and states, these vehicles are allowed to be in the HOV lane with only 1 occupant. Try to do that with your McLaren. Oh yeah. It's like, I really, really, really like this car, and I don't really want to give it back, but I have to. So just a short review today. In the future, look for a full review of this i8. Well, that pretty well wraps up our 2-day adventure on the Diamond Rally. I want to give a special thanks to Rolls-Royce Motor Cars Vancouver and the BMW store for providing me these unbelievable cars to drive. Yesterday we had those Rolls-Royces. The performance, the quality, the workmanship, it's the pinnacle of driving that car. And then today we have the BMW, the 2016 BMW i8, which really is a glimpse into the future of what supercars are going to be. We had a lot of fun, we raised a lot of money for charities, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.